HMS Titanic was an ocean liner developed and designed to be one of the greatest achievements ever during the Gilded Age. The transatlantic steamship business was as prosperous and competitive as many advances in technology and ship development made. In 1907, the managing director of White Star Line, J. Bruce Ismay, and the chairman of White Star Line's builder, Lord Wolfe, created 3 steamships focused on comfort, size, or speed. The first 2 were named the Olympic and Titanic. On the night of April 14, 1912, the senior wireless operator aboard the Titanic received numerous ice warnings, but failed to realize exactly how close the Titanic was actually to the warnings. These messages never reached the captain of the ship or the officers in charge of the bridge. The night was strangely clear and dark, and the sea was unusually flat and calm. The lack of waves made it difficult to spot icebergs due to the lack of white water breaking at their edges.
In the 1900s, there was a large industrial growth within America, which resulted in a counterculture reform movement to assure laborers' rights and extended to other civil issues such as the African Americans and women, which was the progressive movement. On the other hand, the U.S. government pursued an increasingly aggressive foreign policy towards other nations, such as the Roosevelt Colony, which facilitated American activity in Latin America and their seizure of land during the Spanish-American War. The ship was owned majority by J.P. Morgan as a stockholder, who used business practices such as horizontal and vertical integration to hold monopolies on supply chains and industries to fuel his company ventures like J.P. Morgan and Co. and his acquisition from Carnegie U.S. Steel.
At 11:39 p.m., the iceberg was spotted in the Titanic, but the Titanic was going at a pace too fast to slow down and avoid collision with the iceberg. At 11:40 p.m., the Titanic collided with the iceberg, slicing it with 5 out of the Titanic's 16 watertight compartments. The Titanic began to sink as soon as it hit the iceberg and would stay afloat for around 2 hours and 40 minutes before becoming completely submerged underwater. As the ship started to sink, massive panic spread throughout the ship and many rushed toward lifeboats. There were only around 20 lifeboats, which was only enough for half the passengers. These lifeboats also first took only women and children before accepting men. Eventually, at 2:20 a.m., the Titanic would become completely submerged underwater. Of the 2,240 passengers aboard the Titanic, only 706 of them would survive.
I was a survivor of the Titanic who helped people into the lifeboats when the Titanic hit the iceberg. I previously enlisted in the Navy, so I knew what to do in the events of a naval accident. When I heard the loud boom on the starboard, I immediately peered over and saw that our hull was broken, and I knew what to do. As soon as I heard the loudspeaker call for the people to head to the lifeboats, I saw an elderly person and children who were lost in the chaos of the whole situation and led them to lifeboats, which other people also followed. The Titanic was a huge tragedy, but it showed me human compassion within each other as we helped each other, and it made me proud of my actions.
I was a passenger aboard the Titanic going on a honeymoon with my husband. When the Titanic collided with the iceberg, I immediately told my husband, who was in the saloon playing poker. After the calls for the people to come to the lifeboats came, me and my husband both rushed there immediately. When we got to the lifeboats, they were told only women and children would be allowed. I managed to get onto the lifeboat, luckily, but my husband wasn't as lucky as me. I screamed to him to find the lifeboat, but unfortunately, he never did.
I was a second officer aboard the Titanic, and when the Titanic collided with the iceberg, I felt like a whole shudder go through the whole ship, and I went immediately to check, but then I came back because I knew that if there was significant damage, I would be called to the rails. And then a fourth officer came to inform us of our collision with the iceberg, and we began to load women and children into the lifeboats and gave the passengers consolation by saying that it was just for premature accidents and just in case. And once the ship sank, we were saved by the Carpathia, which came up to assist us after we sent out a wireless message asking for help. After the accident, it was also discovered that the Californian, another ship that was present during the time we were sinking, was sent a wireless message from us, but it didn't go through because our wireless receiver was also broken from the collision with the iceberg, which shows that there was a lot of unfortunate elements that went on with the accident.
One of the causes of the catastrophe was unluckiness. The Titanic had 16 watertight compartments to keep the water from causing the boat to sink if there were damages. It was believed that if 4 of the compartments were flooded, then the boat would still stay afloat. However, on the day of the catastrophe, unluckily, the iceberg had caused damage to 5 of the compartments, resulting in the boat going under after enough water had gone in. Another cause of the catastrophe was the lack of lifeboats. The Titanic only carried around 20 lifeboats on board and had a total capacity of roughly half the fuel on board. The boat was designed to carry 32 lifeboats, but the number was reduced to 20 as some felt the deck was too cluttered with additional 12 boats. Until disaster, lifeboats were seen as a substitute for an entire ship and weren't seen as important. Another cause of the catastrophe was bad communication. Information about the Iceland iceberg in the area didn't spread around and didn't reach the captain of the ship. Some messages from were also missed as a result of frequency interferences caused by technology and systems. The 2 telegraphers aboard the ship were also occupied sending personal telegraphs from other passengers. The main cause of the disaster was the iceberg. The iceberg that the Titanic struck was believed to be around 50 to 100 feet high and 400 feet wide. Since the Titanic struck the iceberg around 11:40 p.m., it was believed that the captain was unable to see the iceberg until it was too late due to how dark it was in sea. The Titanic was also very slow at turning because of its size. These factors combined made it impossible for the ship to steer away from the iceberg in time to save itself. The Titanic was a tragic event that saw the loss of many lives and caused devastation amongst many, but it did help leave a strong message to the world. After the events of the Titanic, it sparked a lawmaking frenzy that resonated through the international community. This led to many better safety laws to ensure something similar never occurred again, as seen with the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, which made minimum standards for construction, equipment, and operation of ships compatible with their safety. It helped make a wake-up call to community that nature is still more powerful and that more stricter regulations must be made when constructing large projects regarding the safety of human passengers.